Ridgecrest Community Theater Troupe is proud to present A Spirited Christmas, A Christmas Carol by Katie Cozine.
Long ago, on a snow-laden and blustery Christmas Eve, on a dreary and menacing London street, sat Scrooge in Marley's warehouse. Despite the fact that Marley was dead, Scrooge had never found the time to mark out his name over the door. It seemed to Scrooge to be a fruitless waste of his resources to do so. Scrooge had never been one to let go of time, money, or paint so easily.
Remove yourselves from this property at once! I cannot concentrate with this horrendous hullabaloo penetrating my warehouse!
Scrooge sat working as snow flurries drifted in through the window left ajar. He would sooner throw his hard-earned money directly into the furnace than to waste it on such luxuries as heat. One should not expect to find the circumstances much changed, even on Christmas. No one understood this better than Scrooge's underpaid, underappreciated, and overworked clerk, Bob Cratchit. Be that as it may, tonight was particularly frigid, and Mr. Cratchit moved to the furnace, hoping to glean its warmth.
Mr. Cratchit, I expect that pile of coal to remain pristine and untouched.
Sir?
Do you wish to continue with your work here? Or do you no longer require the gainful employment that I afford you?
Yes, sir. I am still in need of this job indeed. My family is in dire need of the money. My son is very sick, and...
I suggest, Mr. Cratchit, that you replace your thoughts of that fire in the furnace with the needs of your family and get back to work. Otherwise, you may find yourself equally as cold and without the salary to show for it.
Right away, sir. I am sorry to have neglected my duties at all. I will see to it that this does not happen again.
It's money out of my pocket, Cratchit. I have dismissed others for less. Let this be your only warning. If you cost me even the smallest amount again, it will be over for you.
Christmas meant very little to Scrooge. Some would go as far as to say that he had quite the distaste for Christmas altogether. Therefore his niece Winifred was not at all surprised to find him in a foul mood on this Christmas as she entered the warehouse.
"Hello, Uncle. Merry Christmas."
Bah! Humbug!
"Well, not this Christmas too, Uncle. I'd hoped your spirits would be lifted this year."
My spirits are resigned to remain as they are. How is it that you are so cheerful? You and your husband have no wealth or property to call your own.
"The very same to you. How can you say nothing but bah humbug when you have so much for yourself?"
How can a sane man say anything else when he is surrounded by so many buffoons? How can you find merriment in Christmas when all it brings you is increased debt and decreased funds with which to pay? It is nothing but a reminder that we are all 1 year closer to our demise. You, of all people, have no progress to show for it.
"Uncle, your pessimism is clouding your—"
It is all a bunch of nonsense, and should I have my own way, every fellow who proclaims Merry Christmas would find himself bereft of cheer, and I dare say his life, as he well knows it.
"I think, Uncle, that you're taking your dispute on the matter a bit far."
Alas, I do not have my own way. Therefore I will leave you to your Christmas, and you shall leave me to mine.
"How does your heart remain so unmovable during the only time of year when others open their hearts freely to their fellow man?"
My heart moves for no one, Winifred.
"It is the greed that has given you a heart of granite. Your pursuit of wealth, of silver and gold, has alchemized your heart to this unyielding state. There are more important things, Uncle."
A very moving sentiment you have there, young lady. Perhaps you've missed your calling in Parliament.
"I have only come to ask you to have dinner with us tomorrow. Will you join us?"
No, I have work to do.
"Well, it would only be an hour or two, Uncle. We would enjoy your company."
No, I cannot imagine I could spare the time.
"I'm sorry to hear you so resigned. I won't take up any more of your time. Merry Christmas, Uncle."
Yes, goodbye.
"A Happy New Year as well."
Get out!
Scrooge did not share the tendency to believe any time of the year was inherently more philanthropic than any other. He was now in a mood more sour than the previous one, if that were at all possible, and it was not improved by the unwelcomed appearance of a woman seeking Christmas donations for the less fortunate.
"Hello, good sir. In the spirit of the season, I ask you to give what you can spare in order to give aid to those in need."
Why should I be made to help those who clearly do not wish to help themselves? Have the prisons become overrun? Are the workhouses packed to capacity?
"There is still an abundance of both, sir."
Well, why have you come to bother me then?
"Sir, I seek the funds to provide sustenance to the poor. A decent meal is scarce for many, particularly at this time of year. What amount may I write down from you?"
Nothing.
"I see, sir. Many of our contributors choose to remain anonymous."
You mistake me. I will give nothing. Keeping my money makes me merry. I will not use it to bring false and undeserved merriment to others. It is bad enough that I must help to financially support the prisons and workhouses. These people whom you say are in need can seek sanctuary there, as expensive as they are.
Most would choose death over such a fate, sir. And the ones who would choose to go there do not have the means to do so.
If they would rather die, then I say they should get on with it. No use for them to stay and use up valuable resources. I'm of the mind that one should not interfere with the lives of others. In any case, I shall keep to myself. Good day to you.
Good day, sir.
The temperature had dropped significantly by the time Scrooge took his leave from the warehouse. The night sky was a dark, starless mass above him, which did nothing to light his way home as he squinted to see through the fog. He knew the way well enough to get there with his eyes closed. He had lived alone in his small abode for many years, and it suited him well enough. Scrooge entered unremarkably and locked the door firmly behind him. He started for the stairs, retrieving a candle to light his way. The old stairs creaked and groaned against his weight. He reached his bedroom with a start as he saw the face of his old partner, Marley, reflected in the glass of the window.
Oh, Marley, it cannot be!
Scrooge shined the light of the candle toward the window, to find nothing but frost.
Old boy, you may be going around the bend.
Scrooge dressed for bed, trying to push all thoughts of Marley from his mind. He lay down and was nearly asleep when he heard what sounded like heavy chains dragging across the floor downstairs. He thought he must be more tired than he realized. The sounds grew louder as if they were ascending the stairs. Just as Scrooge was about to get up to investigate, a voice sounded from just outside the door.
Ebenezer!
Who are you? Get out of my house!
There was a silence that lasted long enough. Scrooge thought for a moment that the intruder had run off. Just then, a wispy substance, not unlike the fog he had traversed through a short time ago, began to seep under the bedroom door. Had he left a window open downstairs? No, this was not any fog he had ever seen before. It rose up from the floor and began to take the shape of a man. Yes, before his very eyes, the fog became the ghost of Jacob Marley.
Marley, what has become of you? No, I do not believe this. I cannot.
Marley's ghost was noticeably weighed down by an overabundance of heavy chains. They must have made the noise Scrooge had heard coming from downstairs.
Who are you really? What do you want of me?
I am Jacob Marley. I was your partner. Have you forgotten me so quickly?
Not at all. I knew Jacob Marley. However, I do not believe that you are who you say.
How can you doubt what is right before your eyes?
I have a very sensitive digestion, and you may very well be the result of a bit of food sitting poorly upon my stomach. Would you stop that? It's rather unsettling.
You must believe, Ebenezer.
All right, I do. I say I do. Does that please you? Tell me, Marley, why isn't your spirit at rest? Why do you find yourself here with me?
I did not do all that was intended for me, so therefore I must continue on to complete my works as a spirit.
Why have you got that chain wrapped around you so treacherously?
The choices I made in life afforded me this chain. It is of my own making, and I have bared its burden for 7 Christmases. Yours is equally burdensome, Ebenezer, and it awaits you, growing larger with each passing day.
Do not say such things, Marley. You and I were always friends. You have no words of contentment.
None.
How is it you are so changed? You were always a good business partner.
Our business never truly coincided, Ebenezer. My business was that of charity, goodwill, and compassion. Your business consisted of selfishness, greed, and harshness. My time is nearing its end. You must listen. I have come this night with a warning. It is your last chance to free yourself from the chains that await you.
Ah, see? You were always a very good friend.
Tonight you will be visited by 3 spirits. The first shall come to you at the hour of 1. The second shall come for you tomorrow night at the same hour.
Jacob, I really don't think
The third will come the following night, just as midnight finishes tolling. You will not see me again.
Jacob, wait!
I sincerely hope that you heed this sole warning and prevent succumbing to my fate.
Marley! I say, wait a moment!
Scrooge lay awake in his bed, turning uneasily with every chime of the clock as the hour drew nearer. As the hour sounded, he tensed in anticipation.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
What is that?
I am the ghost of Christmas past. You will come with me now.
Oh, well, I couldn't possibly. I'm not properly attired to go out. I'm still in my night clothing. Well, I mean, what would people think? If you give me a moment to dress...
Our time is finite. You must come at once.
Before another word could be spoken, the ghost of Christmas past was upon Scrooge. He reached out one oddly corporeal hand and touched him on the shoulder. The touch brought with it a kind of cold that Scrooge had never experienced in his life. He could not breathe. There was no air. The indescribable cold left him as quickly as it came.
Look before you, Ebenezer Scrooge. Do you know where you are?
Yes, I spent my youth here. I know every brick, every smell, every nook and cranny. This was Christmas Day. Everyone had gone home for the holiday.
Not all are gone. There's one small boy over there. He's alone and holding back tears for fear of the ridicule they bring.
Yes, I was so small then, wasn't I?
A schoolmaster walks into the room with a stern look on her face.
Ebenezer, I'm surprised at you. There's no use in tears. They're a waste of energy. What do you have to be upset about? It's only Christmas. It's very trivial.
Those are very powerful words heard at a young age. Do you think she's right, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Absolutely not. Those words are laced with cruelty. Christmas is very significant to a child of that age. To any child at all. I wish... never mind.
Speak as you mean to.
It's just these carolers who sang outside my warehouse. I ran them off. I was just thinking I could have given them something.
The ineffable cold surged through Scrooge again, and in an instant his feet found new ground.
Are you familiar with this warehouse?
Oh, quite. I worked as an apprentice in this place.
Were you contented to be here?
Very much so. The man I worked for was benevolent and kind.
As Scrooge took in the sights, a tall, dark-haired man appeared through a narrow doorway and addressed all of the workers.
Hello, boys. Your work is done tonight. Should we celebrate a bit before you all go home to your families and enjoy Christmas?
Spencer! Oh, Spencer, look at him. He looks so jubilant. I thought I would never see him again.
You have worked so hard, Ebenezer. Please, take some time to enjoy yourself. You certainly have earned it.
Spencer was indeed kind, Ebenezer Scrooge, but he also let his sentiments get the best of him and thus did not have a strong business ethic.
You have no idea what you're saying. Spencer was the best man I ever came to know. I wish.
Yes?
I was just thinking about poor Bob Cratchit.
My time has expired. You must prepare yourself for the ghost of Christmas present.
Scrooge closed his eyes and readied himself to be enveloped by the cold, but it never came. Instead, there was a tingling, not unlike the sensation of pins and needles. He opened his eyes, and a new apparition stood before him.
I am the ghost of Christmas present. My time is very short. Do not be careless.
Bob Cratchit lives here. It seems more decrepit than I remember. I pay him better than this. I'm sure it is more habitable on the inside.
Scrooge and the spirit made their way inside the humble Cratchit home to find it lousy with children and its interior not faring any better than the exterior. Mrs. Cratchit is directing the children about the cramped room.
Sam and Thomas, bring those plates to the table. Sarah and Dean, get those chairs and move them here. Rory, keep an eye on that stove pot. What is keeping your father and Tiny Tim? Soon that goose will be as dry and tough as an old boot.
Here they come now. Mother, Father is carrying Tiny Tim on his shoulders.
Oh, good. Open the door for them now.
Hello, Father.
Hello, my wonderful family. A very Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas,
Father. Daddy.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Down you go, Tiny Tim. Sam, Dean, take him to go get cleaned up for dinner.
Can you smell the goose cooking?
I never saw a goose that big before.
Hurry now, before it gets cold. How was it tonight with Tiny Tim, dear?
Oh, he was just splendid. Though, have you noticed that he doesn't speak like a child? He's very thoughtful and reserved. Sometimes the things he says are too exceptional even for me.
Yes, he is a very extraordinary boy.
On the way home from the service tonight, he told me that he is happy when people look at him because of his lame legs. He says that it helps remind people that this is the season for miracles, and if he can have hope despite the pain and struggles, then so can they.
Sweet boy. My sweet, precious boy.
Ebenezer Scrooge, why do you wipe the tears from your eyes?
Bob Cratchit never mentioned that his son was physically infirmed.
He was born to that plight. He has used that small crutch over in the corner until last month. He has grown too weak for it now, and must be carried. Look now as they sit to eat.
I wish to make a toast to the man that put this food on our table, to Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Bob! You are the man who worked to put food on our table. If Scrooge were here now, I would tell him a thing or two all right.
Dear, it's Christmas.
And I will eat, drink, and be thankful. But it is for you, and for Christmas, not for him.
Merry Christmas to my loved ones, and may God bless us and this lovely meal.
Yes, may God bless everyone.
My time has come to an end. You must be met by your final visitor.
Wait, Spirit. Tell me this before we depart. Is Tiny Tim going to survive? He looks so feeble.
That crutch in the corner will never be used again. The next Christmas for the Cratchit family will hold a vacant place setting at the table.
That can't be.
A dark cloud of poverty looms over this household. If nothing is done to lift it, the child will die.
No!
Might that be for the best? Was it not you who said people like that use up valuable resources?
Scrooge blinked his eyes in quick succession to clear his tears. He took in a breath to clear his throat, and the air was instantly knocked out of him like a hard punch to the stomach. He was falling, spiraling madly into complete darkness. Scrooge landed hard. The fog that surrounded him was thick, and he seemed to choke on it as he struggled to find his breath.
Where am I?
Scrooge painfully found his feet and stood in the cold night. Just as he was about to call out, the third ghost rose up before him. He wore a dark hooded robe which hid his face from view.
I take you to be the spirit of Christmas future.
No, Ebenezer Scrooge. I am the ghost of Christmas Untold. I will show you Christmases whose events are yet to unfold.
This is a graveyard. We have no business being here. This is where people go to be forgotten. It's so dilapidated and overgrown. God help the poor unloved souls who find their final resting place here.
There is something here you must find. It is on the top of that hill to the east.
Scrooge turned to address his ghostly guide, but it was gone. He was left alone, shivering and terrified. There was no clear path to follow, as the ground was choked with thick weeds. His bare legs and ankles were pricked perversely by the more aggressive overgrowth as he traversed to the top of the hill. His joints protested against his effort in the cold. Scrooge reached his destination and discovered an old and worn tombstone protruding from the ground.
Bah! I can't make out the name through this dreadful fog.
Ebenezer Scrooge, this is the last piece of earth you have to call your own.
What? You don't mean to say that this is my grave?
You shall remain in this unattended plot for all the Christmases to come.
No, I cannot. There has to be a way to change it. I'm changed. This cannot be my fate. I see the fault of my judgment. I hold Christmas in my heart to be precious and dear. Please, say that I will not lie in that frozen, horrible bit of ground. No! Please, no!
Ebenezer Scrooge sat straight up in his bed, his clothes sodden with perspiration. Crisp morning light shone through his bedroom window.
The fog is lifted. Oh, what a beautiful sunshine. You, young man, what day is it?
The day, sir. It's Christmas, isn't it?
Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. All of that happened in one night?
Scrooge reached for his nightstand and pulled open the drawer. He felt around for a drawstring bag and retrieved a shilling from inside. He went back to the window and threw it down to the young boy.
For your trouble. Now, if you go down to the butcher's round the corner and bring back the large turkey, there will be more. More from where that came from.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I will fetch the largest turkey there is. Right away, sir.
Look at the spring in his step. I will send it to Bob Cratchit. Yes, that will be quite the Christmas surprise. I'd better get dressed. No one got anywhere standing around in a nightgown.
What a change was seen in Scrooge that day. He walked the streets with his head high, ready to greet anyone and everyone he passed, his heart swelling with Christmas glee.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Merry Christmas! How's the family?
Very well, Mr. Scrooge, thank you. Merry Christmas!
The smile on his face grew wider and wider with each person he greeted. Scrooge even gave several shillings to beggars along the way.
Bless you, sir.
Oh, Merry Christmas, fellow! May your spirits be lifted and your stomach be full!
He made the time to drop in on his niece. They shared kind words, beautiful memories, and a good meal. The next morning, Scrooge went to the warehouse very early. He wanted to light the furnace and be there before Bob Cratchit. When Cratchit entered the warehouse to find it warm, he began to panic.
Mr. Scrooge, sir, I'm so sorry about the furnace. I could have sworn that I shut it down last night before I left.
Come over here, Cratchit.
Sir, please, I don't know how this happened. I know what you said before, and I did take heed.
You did indeed. I was going to give you a raise, Bob.
Come again, sir.
It's more money in your pocket. I wish to help your family with your difficulties. Merry Christmas. Now throw some more coal on that fire. We have work to do.
Scrooge's kindness did not end there. In fact, it was only beginning. He stayed true to his word and kept the spirit of Christmas in his heart all year long. He became very close with the Crachit family and became Tiny Tim's godfather. Through Scrooge's limitless generosity, Tiny Tim regained a substantial amount of health and was able to thrive despite a lasting limp. Scrooge became known and loved throughout the town as a kind and benevolent man. No one could think of Christmas without also thinking of Ebenezer Scrooge.
Merry Christmas to you and your family from Ridgecrest Community Theater Troupe.
May God bless us, everyone.